Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. Moon is one of the most significant planets for us, not only for the effects that the moon brings on us or for us through its influence on our day-to-day life, high tides, low tides, so many other things get affected, but also through astrological placements and what its effects is on a day-to-day life and also critical elements of our life. For example, moon has been called the Manas, the thinking ability, and a weak moon means the thinking ability is really less and decrease, and the effectiveness of the thinking ability and the ability to make choices is substantially reduced. And what are we if not our choices? And hence the strength of moon is a critical component of various results in our life. And hence moon is also a planet which has the shortest transition period, which means that moon will travel much faster than all the planets. So the moon traverses each sign over once in 2 days and a few hours, and so this is an important placement for moon. And because of the moon going through almost one nakshatra every day, so it also has an effect on a bearing on our thinking ability, our emotions, and how through our emotions and our thinking ability we make our choices, and through those choices we also get different results in our life. So moon is very important. One of the important things mentioned in the astrological text about moon is that it is the manas, it is the thinking ability, it is the mind, and it is also the karaka of various elements in our life. It is the karaka of the mother, of property, of happiness, about mental peace, of even learning, and the ability to make choices and to think right. If you have a very strong moon, then even a slightly lesser strength of Jupiter will do, and even if Mercury is very weak, yet because of the wisdom of Jupiter and the right thinking and the right choice making ability of the moon, you can still traverse the various results of our life. However, if you have a very weak moon, then even with a very strong Jupiter or even with a very strong Mercury, you get less results in the life. So that is how important and critical the moon is. And it has been mentioned in the slokas that if both the sun and the moon are extremely strong in the Lagna chart, then most of the evil effects of all the other planets can be easily tided over and things can still be good for us. So how does the moon affect us, especially when it goes through the phases? We talked about the moon transiting very fast and it changing one nakshatra every day and few hours, and changing a sign every 2 days and a few hours, which means that because this moon transits so very fast, moon also goes through the phases where it goes from a new moon to a full moon, and then from a full moon it goes to again a new moon, or it moves from the new full moon to the Amavasya and back. And so the waxing of the moon, that means they increasing from the new moon, the moon increasing in its phases, increasing in its brightness, increasing in its size, the brightness size, to becoming in the full moon is called the waxing moon. And then from a full moon decreasing in its luminosity, decreasing in its brightness, decreasing in the size, and getting back to a crescent moon, and then again going through the Amavasya position, that is moon not being visible, and then again to the new moon is called the waning moon. The waxing moon is supposed to bring in better results for us, good results for us, and more auspicious results for us, whereas the waning moon, the moon which is decreasing in size day to day, from the full moon to the new moon, is said to be a moon which is losing its weakness, losing its strength every day. And so every day that the moon goes through the waning period, so every day it decreases in its luminosity, and hence a waning moon is also one which brings challenges in our life. So basis what is the phase of the moon, whether it is waxing or waning, the placement in your horoscope will also tell you accordingly, and basis that you will also see results coming by accordingly. So firstly, a waxing moon, a moon which is increasing in size from the new moon to the full moon, is said to be a strong moon, and it will have a strong bearing on your ability to make choices and think right. And also, if you see, not only will the thinking ability of the person be very strong, but the person will also be able to attract happiness, will also be able to attract prosperity, will also be able to attract material benefits, and will also be able to attract mental peace and domestic happiness. Whereas a waning moon is said to be in various shlokas, said to be bringing challenges in our day-to-day lives. How do you find out the difference between a waxing moon and a waning moon in your Lagna chart? And mind you, the waxing or the waning moon is seen only in the Lagna chart and should not be seen in the Navama chart anyways. So in your Lagna chart, in the anti-clockwise direction, if you see that the moon is within the 7 houses from the sun, which means, say for example, a moon which in an anti-clockwise direction from the sun is within the first 7 houses is a waxing moon. A moon after that is a waning moon. So if the sun is in the 4th house and if the moon is higher in degrees but within the 4th or in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th or 9th or the 10th houses, it is a waxing moon. But beyond that, if the moon is in the beyond the 10th houses, which means in the 11th, 12th, 1st, 2nd or 3rd houses, or in the 4th houses but behind the sun in terms of degrees, then it's a waning moon. If sun is in the 7th house, then moon is between the 7th house and the 2nd house. That means the moon is a waxing moon. Beyond that, if it's the distance is larger than 7 houses, when you look at in the anti-clockwise direction, then it is a waning moon. So if the sun is in the 7th house and the moon is either in the 7th house but in increasing degrees from the sun, or in the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, or even the 1st house, the Lagna, then the moon is said to be waxing moon. If the moon, while the sun is in the 7th house, gets into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th or the 6th house, or if it's in even the 7th house but the degrees are lesser than that of the sun, then it's said to be a waning moon. So this should be kept in mind. Accordingly, you will be able to find out how from the placement of the sun your moon is, and based on that whether it is waxing or the waning moon. Also, in terms of the calculating the time period of the birth of the child, you will also be able to see when your Lagna chart is created whether the birth is during the Shukla Paksh, which means it is a waxing moon, or during the Krishna Paksh, which means it is a waning moon. So the birth in the Shukla Paksh is supposed to be an auspicious birth, it's supposed to be a birth which is a prosperity bringing birth, moon is supposed to be strong, and the yogas that the moon is involved in are all strong yogas. A moon which is a waxing moon or the Shukla Paksh moon will add a lot of strength not only to the mind in terms of being manas, which represents the mind, but also in prosperity, in abundance, and will create more avenues for making property, all the things which constitute the 4th house. For example, your domestic peace, your mental happiness, your relationship with mother, your ability to buy vehicles, jewelry, all of this will be good and will be added strength through the moon being in the Shukla Paksh or the waxing moon or the strong moon. This has also been mentioned in various shlokas, some of which I will anyways bring up in the later part of the video. The other thing is, if you look at specifically the yogas which the moon is involved in, say the Chandra Mangal Yoga, the Gajkesari Yoga, and any other yoga, even if it's the Durdara or the Sunafa Yoga once moon gets involved, or the Lakshmi Yoga, all of these yogas will have a lot of strength if a moon is in the waxing state rather than in the waning state. The other thing is that whenever you find the moon combusted or even debilitated, if it's a waxing moon, then you will find that it retains some of its strength and its ability to give some auspiciousness is definitely increased. And hence sometimes when we are not able to see whether it's a waxing or a waning moon in a horoscope, and so we are not able to judge for ourselves how the overall horoscope is throwing up in terms of good luck, prosperity or abundance. If it's a waxing moon, definitely some strength is given to the moon, and if the moon is strong, it's a lot of difference between a waxing and a waning moon in terms of overall ability to give good results, even if it's in the same yoga. So this should be kept in mind. The other thing is in terms of health. If the waxing moon gets connected to the Lagna in any way, or aspect the Lagna, or is the Lagna Lord, or if the moon is waning and the Lagna Lord is weak and the sun is weak, then generally for such a native, the task of doing well in life will be an uphill task, because three most important planets, sun, moon as well as the Lagna Lord, are in a not such a powerful state, and so the results will be challenging and will be issues bringing. Here, if the Lagna Lord is very strong, then the effects will be slightly reduced. If the sun is also strong, the issues will be reduced further. But if the moon is still waning, then you will find that while all the things around the person may be good, the designation may be good, in terms of money everything will be good, however the mind will not be at rest, the mind will not be at peace. So if you find that you have everything in life, you have a good status in society, you have a good family, you have good health, you even have a good designation, but somewhere your mind is not at rest, your mind is not at peace, the highest chance that you are going through a life with a troubled mind is because of a waning moon, if everything else is good. So do check out whether you have a waning moon or a waxing moon in your horoscope, because results will be coming by accordingly to you. The other is if moon is in tough doshas. For example, if the moon is in a Vish dosha, then obviously if the moon is in a waning phase, then the Vish dosha will bring in more toughness, will bring in more challenges. However, if the moon is in a waxing phase while it is placed with Saturn in the Vish dosha, moon still retains a lot of its strength, and the mind has the ability to tide over issues and challenges brought about by the Vish dosha. The same thing is because of aspects. If there are malefic aspects on a waxing moon, then the mind is still able to take the challenges and still able to face all the hurdles coming to you. But if it's a waning moon, the Krishna Paksh moon, then obviously again there will be more challenges and the mind will be troubled, and it won't be easy to come out of the challenges easily. If somebody is going through psychiatric problem, a psychological problem, and they have a waning moon, then it will be tougher for them to come out of that issues or the troubled mind or the depression. However, if you have a waxing moon and if you go through any such issue, you will find that you will be able to get out of such a situation much easier, much quicker. And now let's look at some shlokas that threw up for us some of the instances which have been given in the astrological texts, basis what results one gets from a waxing moon and from a waning moon. A shloka in the Jataka Parijata says that a planet becomes really benefic or malefic according to its association. If the association is with a weak moon, the sun, Mars or Saturn, it is a malefic. But when associated with a waxing moon or with Jupiter or Venus, it becomes a benefic. And when it is alone, it becomes more of a benefic than a malefic. In terms of longevity of a person, a waxing moon is responsible for giving a longer life than a waning moon. In fact, some shlokas say that if a moon is very, very strong and it's a waxing moon, then it's not easy to calculate the age of a person. In fact, he may have a long life. Let's look at one of the shlokas from the Hora Sara, which talks about what is the influence of a waxing moon on the longevity of a person. This shloka in the Hora Sara says, if the moon is not decreasing, that it is not waning but it is waxing and occupies a friendly sign, that is a friendly Rashi and a friendly Navamsa, and coinciding with the 11th or the 1st, while the 9th house has Saturn in it, then the person lives for uncountable years. So clearly here the longevity of a person is strongly associated with a waxing moon, and to that extent a waxing moon is responsible for the number of added years to a person's life and his also ability to fight diseases, to fight issues and upheavals. And hence, because his ability to fight issues, upheavals, diseases, sickness goes up, and hence the person also lives longer because the mind is strong to face those challenges. The other is when moon is placed in the Dusthanas and is either waxing or waning. Some shlokas say that if the moon is in a Dusthana and if it's waxing, then it tends to bring better results than when it is in the Dusthanas and it is waning. Let's look at one shloka which talks about moon in the 12th house in either the waxing or a waning position. This shloka in the Hora Sara says, one who has the moon in the 12th house will have afflicted eyes, defective limbs, sufferings from women, and he will be fickle-minded. Should, however, the 12th be the own sign or exaltation house for the moon, or she be waxing, though in the 12th, happiness and wealth be follow. So, in spite of the moon being in the 12th house, but if it's a waxing moon, then it is said to be bringing a lot of strength, and if it's in its own sign or exaltation, then it adds more flavor to the strength of the moon, and it says happiness and abundance and prosperity will follow. Now shloka about moon going into the other dusthana, which is the 8th house and in a waning state. Let's look at what the shloka says. A shloka in the Horasara says, should the moon be waning and in the 8th house, in such dasha, which means the dasha of the moon, the native will be troubled with diseases, etc. Due to the lapses of his wife or women, he will face absolute penury. This means that a waning moon can bring a lot of trouble, can also bring in challenges in the financial position of the moon, of the person, because moon is directly associated and the natural ruler of the 4th house, which is also the house of abundance and prosperity and material possessions. So one should be very, very careful how the moon is placed in the horoscope and how you are looking at the state of the moon, and then looking at how you are facing the challenges that moon can bring in with a change in attitude when you are facing such a situation. So the first thing somebody should do when you have a waning moon in the horoscope is to look at the overall strength of the moon in terms of Shadbala. If the Shadbala of the moon is very, very strong, and if the Ashtak Varga of the moon is also very strong, then it means that the waning challenges of the moon will be substantially reduced. However, the dasha of the moon and the Antar dasha of the moon will still throw up challenges every now and then, and so while the issues may be reduced because of the Shadbala scores as well as the Ashtak Varga scores, yet the dasha and Antar dasha of the moon will bring issues, will bring challenges. First thing one has to do when you have a waning moon or a weak moon, which moon in a waning state is also looked at as, to change the attitude in which you face life. How do you face challenges where the mind is weak? So firstly, improve the strength of the mind by indulging in those activities which will bring you more relief. Meditation, having good relations with the mother, practicing patience, practicing submission to the will of the God, and being patient and persevering through different situations is a good way. The second is to depend on wise counsel, and to depend on the wise counsel of somebody who you think is a wise person and can help you, support you in taking those choices. A waning moon sometimes can bring you those choices and that fork in the road which may lead you onto a wrong direction, and which will force you to take such decisions, which will force you to face issues or challenges which the waning moon will bring about you. A waning moon or a waxing moon is also very karmic position, because moon is also very karmic planet, because it is the Manas. And we know shlokas have said that the soul follows the Manas. The soul will follow in the direction where the Man is going, the Manas is going, which means where the moon is going. So that's why a waxing or a waning moon is a karmic position, and it is up to us how do we improve that situation, or we face the situation by default rather than by design. The design is to persevere, to meditate, to have good relations with the mother, and to support and care for all those people who are at a motherly age. So donating and offering your services, offering time to people who are in the old age home, especially women of high age, is a very good means of reducing the strength of the waning moon and adding strength to it. The other is to have a caring and a supporting mannerism and attitude to people. So whenever you have a chance of supporting somebody, to caring for somebody, or empathizing with somebody, please take that, and rather than doubt somebody or put them down and not have a nurturing, not have a caring and a supportive heart, not have an empathizing mind, not having empathizing heart and attitude, will obviously reduce the strength of the moon further when you have a waning moon. So these are some of the remedies which I have given to you, but the best remedy is to be submissive to the will of the God, to persevere, to serve others, and to have a strong will power to overcome all situations which life throws at us, and to submit to what the situation will be, but with a kind heart and a supportive heart. And to use the dasha of the moon and the antardashas of the moon, especially if you have a waning moon, to reduce your karmic debt. So having a mindset of serving during these periods and using the other dasha periods to attract prosperity. If the moon is overall strong in terms of Shadbala scores but weak in terms of waning scores, is an important way to go. So friend, this is my analysis of how a waxing or a waning moon in your horoscope can throw various challenges at you and also bring you various choices. It can also be a harbinger of prosperity, but it could also be a troublemaker. So look into your own horoscopes and see whether you have a waxing or a waning moon, as I've already told you. So look at these placements and then figure for yourself what the Shadbala scores of the moon are, what the Ashtak Varga scores of the moon are, and then decide for yourself if during the Antardasha of the moon has it been a troubling period for you. If you have not faced the Dasha of the moon yet, then during the Antardasha periods of the moon, whether you have faced more challenges or whether things have been good for you, and based on that decide whether the moon is still holding you good, still supporting you, or bringing challenges. If you find that the Antardashas of the moon or the Dasha of the moon, if you faced already, are bringing you troubles, then please do practice the remedies which I have given you and submit to the Lord, and over a period of time, if you persevere, everything will fall in line, everything will be good. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.